Hello, from the University of El Salvador and the subject English Literature. This is the video Let's Talk About William Wordsworth, and I am Carla Dominguez. Welcome. We are going to be talking about the biography, the contribution, some facts, and some poets about this famous writer. To begin. William Wordsworth. Speaking about this famous poet of the Romantic genre, we can say that he was born on April the 7th in 1770 in London. But when he was a kid, his mother and his father died, and that was a very painful act in which he forced himself to be more mature in early age. At that age, from the 8 to 10 years old, he was in love with nature and he started to see the nature as something that he can talk about that and he can write about this. He started the school then and he moved to France. There he met some friends and those friends were writing different kind of literature, and he got in love with poets, and then he started to do something like that, especially those that were related with nature. Then he got married with his childhood friend, Mary Hutchinson, but it was his sisters who helped him to develop the writings as profession. And it was not until the 1843 that he was named Poet Literature of England through because he had a lot of writers and he has also a lot of poems, and they were considered one of the best in that time. So he was recognized by that. And then he died in 1850. As we can see, his contribution to the Romantic movements, he used an artistic expression, focuses on nature, emotion, and personal experience because he was living in the countryside and everything that he can see at that moment, he can write about that and the emotion that he was feeling at that moment. And he create a special way to express himself and how was he feeling in that moment, and all of them is a work that we already know as the poems and some bells. We have here some examples about his poems. First, we have Tinter Avey in the 1798. Then we have Wandered Lonely as Cloud in the 1807. Then we have in the same year Old Imitation of Immortality. And finally, we can have the Prelude. All of them are very famous, and the Prelude is one of the most famous and is considered one of the best of his creation. Then we have the fun facts. He was always trying to do some exercise, and then he tried to run. He used to love to run in the countryside. That's why he was um, trying to recognize or trying to look for new places to go when he was running. And there was the moment when he saw a lot of nature and he got more in love with that. Then he become the great writer that he was, showing us the emotion that he had in that moment. and he loved to live in the countryside because he doesn't like he was not agree with the sound and the buildings of London, the city. That's why he moved to the countryside, and he every kind of thing of the nature he was considered he took them, and he transformed in a poetry because he was really in love with all it was surrounded uh, when he was living there in the countryside. And finally, we can see the lyrical books were the contribution, and that's why it is considered historical because it gave a turn to English literature. So basically, if you read his poems, you are going to be familiar with the nature and how he was feeling in that moment, and the way he can express all the things that he was feeling is the interesting about him. So this is all for this famous writer. Thank you for hearing me. Bye bye.